noise.
Welcome.
I know
Today is a
Oh,
very
here we
special
go.
day, and we're so excited to celebrate with you.
Incredibly excited. Today is a day about perseverance, innovation, economic contribution, and community.
I'm Paulina Cameron, CEO of the Forum.
And I'm Jill Earthy, CEO of WeBC, which used to be called Women's Enterprise.
As we begin, we want to take a moment to recognize and thank the people of the McLoughlin people of the Songhees and Esquimalt nations on whose ancestral and stolen lands we are on today. And we in particular raise our hands to the elders who have been stewards of this land. Those folks who are joining across the province and across the lands now called Canada, we invite you to identify whose ancestral lands you are dialing in from in the chat.
Thank you for joining us in that important acknowledgement. So today we're thrilled to be with you to celebrate Women's Entrepreneurship Day. So first, we're going to start off with an important announcement from provincial government. And then second, we're going to hear the stories about the trials and tribulations of entrepreneurship from some wonderful women from across our diverse province.
And before we dive into the formal programming, we also want to take a moment to just acknowledge and express our sympathy for those who are navigating the devastating disaster from the floods across the province, and to thank the first responders, the crews, and the volunteers who have been working tirelessly on the ground.
And it's amidst these moments when it feels like celebration should be far from our minds. But yet, acknowledging women and their businesses and the backbone not only of our economy, but of our communities and families is really more important than ever. And it's really special on the heels of the last one.
So let's talk about the women entrepreneurs here in Canada. Women represent 38% of businesses in Canada, 39% in BC, go BC, and still receive under 20% of traditional bank financing and under 4% of venture capital. But we know they are creating thriving businesses across all industries, creating deep impact, contributing to their communities and to the economy. Data shows that 70% of women entrepreneurs are also embedding impact into their business, and majority of that is embedding sustainability, which we really need right now.
More than ever. And in 2021, and when we think about the impacts of the pandemic, there's still significant barriers that persist for women entrepreneurs, namely access to capital, access to markets, and access.
This is why organizations like ours exist, to really support women with holistic approaches and recognize their unique growth pathways.
And WeBC is a provincial nonprofit organization that's centered here across the province of British Columbia. We provide mentorship, programming and skills development, business advisory, and loans up to $150,000.
And the Forum is a national charity that for 20 years has been elevating self-identifying women entrepreneurs through educational programming, mentorship, resources, and a deeply supportive community.
And these programs are so important. We look at the numbers. Collectively, our organizations have supported over 10,000 women in just this past year, representing 275 communities across the province. And then at WeBC, with our loan program, we've lent over $4.6 million, again, just in this past year, creating 351 jobs and generating almost $200 million in economic impact.
I mean, those numbers are just astounding and incredible and deserve that we're here. And in just a moment, we're going to hear about the stories behind those numbers, because that's what we're all here for at the end of the day, to celebrate the women entrepreneurs. And to join us in kicking off the celebrations, we're so delighted to introduce the Honorable Minister of Finance, Selena Robinson.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you for the kind introductions, Paulina and Jill. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm honored to be here in person, live and in person in front of a handful of people. It's great on the traditional territory of the Lekwungen peoples in the Songhees and Esquimalt Nation. And I too want to express, my heartfelt sorrow for those who have lost their life in the recent floods, and also recognizing the first responders and those who are responding to the impact of the recent weather event. It's hard for so many. At the same time, I know that there's people here in this room and certainly watching whose thoughts are with folks whose lives have been severely impacted. Right now, being here in person is a real thrill of mine, and also to be in a room full of women. Women have always played an essential role in keeping BC's economy diverse and strong and thriving. And today, women-owned businesses and women entrepreneurs are making an increasingly significant economic and social impacts here at home and frankly, right around the world. And today, being able to celebrate these women, these entrepreneurs at the first Women's Entrepreneurship Day here in British Columbia is truly an honor for me and for our government. Women are the fastest growing segment of entrepreneurship in Canada. Making up just 39% of self-employed people in BC is above the national average, and we are growing, and we are going to keep growing because as a government, we want to encourage and support women to become entrepreneurs. Why? Because they get lots of stuff done. More than half the people in our province are women. Go figure. And women are people who have the unlimited talent, expertise, and creativity that we need. This is what we need to prosper in the months and years to come. And I know that these past 20 months have not been easy. Many businesses have struggled. They've struggled through the pandemic. People have faced unprecedented losses. But there is reason for strong optimism. And one of those reasons is entrepreneurs, like all of you here participate today. You leaders, you innovators, you employers, I applaud you. Sectors like business, services, and innovative areas like biotech and clean tech are just some of the bright spots in BC's economy that experts predict will lead the way through recovery. So we should all be celebrating today. We should be celebrating that together we are building back from some of the most difficult times that this province has ever experienced. And in fact, I would say that this world has ever experienced. And with your help, we will build an economy that is inclusive, that is sustainable, and that is built to last for generations to come. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to a few folks who are going to share some of their stories on video. We're going to hear from some of our incredible entrepreneurs.
From launching dream businesses to creating communities and finding new ways to do business, women entrepreneurs have so much to be proud of.
Today is a day to celebrate the trials and the triumphs and the power and the potential of women entrepreneurs. Today is our day. Today is Women's Entrepreneurship Day. Woo!
Women's Entrepreneurship Day means a chance to connect and generate new opportunities with like-minded individuals.
It means empowering women to chase after their dreams.
It means that all the women before us who, leaned in, worked twice as hard, and pursued what they believed in, did it so that they could pave the path for us to follow in their footsteps with ease.
Celebrating this day is a reminder that there is absolutely no limit as to what a woman can achieve when she's lifted up by her community.
To stay on the entrepreneurship train this year, it's taken multiple villages and anchors like the Forum in order to thrive forward.
A lot of the challenges that I faced in the last year were around not knowing what to do. Being a first-time founder, I always felt like I wasn't sure if I was on the right path.
One of the struggles that we had was hiring. We had a very small team, and because we went through this tremendous growth, we required a lot more hands on deck.
I would say the greatest challenge was connection this past year. With COVID-19, you were pretty limited to what community you could connect with.
Trying to balance being a mom and an entrepreneur, navigating a brand new business in an industry that I have no experience with.
I paused my business on March 13th when the government announced national emergency.
I felt really alone. I felt like I was in isolation within isolation.
That vulnerability of being able to count on one another through that very difficult time, it allows me to stand here today at the end of 2021 and being able to say, I did it, I made it.
If I were to reflect on what my biggest achievement so far is that together, we've created a business that we could be proud of, and that I'm doing a little part to inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs.
The achievement I'm most proud of in 2021 has to be opening my brick and mortar cidery.
My most memorable achievement in my entrepreneurial journey this year was I participated in a solo pop-up store with the Black Business Association of BC, and it really validated that this is what I was supposed to be doing. My business is what I am supposed to be doing.
Most memorable achievements this past year as a woman entrepreneur has absolutely got to be the fact that we have entered into China and India. When I first started Super Beauty, I was laughed at and I was looked down upon as this, little brown, colorful woman who had big dreams and, just insane aspirations. And so it is very exciting to see how our amazing team here has been able to take this vision and push it forward. And now we're in these 2 major regions.
We can further support women entrepreneurs through unsolicited recognition, talking about someone's business on LinkedIn, giving another woman in business a call to see how they're doing.
Encouraging women to follow their hearts and to follow their passion, and that anything is possible.
It has to be less about the brave ones. It has to be less about the bold. It has to be about every single woman.
It's important to really celebrate female entrepreneurship because there are younger women, younger girls who are entering, the next phase of their life. And if they see that there's opportunities across the board for women in all types of different industries, they don't feel limited. So they're going to go through life with much more opportunities.
Our tenacity is paying off, and it's putting words into action and showing our littles that anything is possible. Right, Myra?
Yeah. Let's connect and recognize one another.
Let's keep lifting each other up.
Together we can move mountains.
Go women, we can do it!
An absolutely incredible video of the stories of this year through, of the challenges and of getting to the other side. Incredible. Hi, my name is Grace Lohr and I'm the Secretary for Gender Equity. Like the minister, so glad to be here today in person, glad to be here with the forum and WeBC and all of you and those folks who joined and participated in the video. Post is a dream post. And today is an example of why that is, to be in this room with you folks, to be virtually with all of those who are joining us and to hear what people are doing, the leadership. It's absolutely inspiring and without a doubt makes a difference in our economy and in our communities. And the chance to be part of that makes this role for me just a dream. Creating opportunities, breaking down barriers is a big part of the work as Parliamentary Secretary for Gender Equity because of what it means in communities. Breaking down those barriers for women in particular and for women, diverse backgrounds. It's also a big part of the work I did before being elected. As an academic, both in my research and work in community, I focused on who is present, who is making decisions, who takes the lead, changes what gets talked about and how work gets done. And in the end, how people's lives are impacted. And I can tell you that it does matter. The conversations we're having here, the networks, the relationships, you being in the roles you're in makes a difference. It sends a message in part about who should have decision-making power in our society. It changes our way of doing business, the kind of products we get, the ideas that happen. And yet, well into the 21st century, it's still true that women earn less on average than men and are more likely to work part-time and less likely to be in leadership positions. We heard some of those numbers about the incredible growth of women entrepreneurs and the space we're taking up in the economy, and some of the challenges in the comparable percents on access to capital. So there's a lot to be done and so much potential, and the opportunity to have these conversations and to lift each other up is everything. We know that the gendered challenges and barriers and extra humps to get over are compounded by other injustices around poverty, racism, homophobia, transphobia. And it is also true that there is no question that our communities and economies are stronger and more interesting and more sustainable when all of us reach our full potential and are able to grab at the ideas and dreams. I think we see that in the video. So I want to thank you all. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. It can mean taking risks and trying new things. And I think I said can mean, does mean, probably every day. But in doing so, it's inspiring others who are watching you, who are thinking about their dreams and what's ahead of them. And we all benefit. So we continue to focus on making progress towards ensuring equity and opportunity, because those barriers still exist, but they can be dismantled and we do get over them, and it does matter. So leads me to a short personal note. In my career path, I believed in focusing on the things that I'm passionate about. And for me, that means the things that matters to people's lives. And there is no question that I'm in good company on that in this room, and the abundance of drive and passion. I also believe so strongly in mentorship, and again, no question that is echoed in this room. Mentorship where you actually work on things together, where there's learning going both ways. We need people who believe in us, who remind us of what we offer to this work and what the potential is. And who does all of that best? I think it's women. As the minister said, we get lots of things done. So let's continue to lift each other up, to teach and learn and connect and lead, which brings me to what I think is a really special moment. It involves an official presentation of a proclamation to declare today Women's Entrepreneurship Day in British Columbia. Oh,
yeah. For everyone watching us, we're taking a photo moment.
And we have hundreds of people joining us online, which is amazing. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll grab it from you.
For you.
Thank you. So some of you may be wondering, you probably can't see the fine print in here. So we're going to assist you and read.
Absolutely. We're gonna take a minute just to share what does it mean? What is it acknowledging, and what, more importantly, is it celebrating?
So to begin, oh, thank you, Melanie. Thank you. Thank you. I was trying to juggle. I'm getting pretty good at juggling, and I don't want to break anything here. So whereas WeBC and the Forum present Women's Entrepreneurship Day to celebrate and bring awareness to the economic and social impact of women-owned businesses in British Columbia.
And women are the fastest growing segment of entrepreneurship.
And addressing the unique growth pathways of women entrepreneurs closes gender gaps and grows the economy.
And women-owned businesses support innovation across sectors, from retail and services to manufacturing and technology.
And funding and investing in women entrepreneurs contributes to the creation of jobs and economic business growth opportunities.
And women entrepreneurs represent British Columbia in the global marketplace through international sales.
That's not it yet, because and buying from women entrepreneurs has far-reaching impact on our communities and the environment.
And women entrepreneurs are inspirational leaders, role models, mentors, and contributors to their communities through WeBC.
And on this day, we honor the contributions of women entrepreneurs in British Columbia, and very importantly, also the citizens who support them, invest in them, and purchase from them.
So now we proclaim and declare that November 19th, 2021 shall be known as Women's Entrepreneurship Day.
What an amazing moment to celebrate together. And we know that the work doesn't end here.
No. So now we're going to transition to part 2 of today's festivities, which will include a celebratory toast. So whatever your beverage of choice is, there's no judgment. Make sure you have a glass handy. And then we'll have an interactive conversation with entrepreneurs from across the province, as we indicated. And then we're going to have some wrap up with some information about a few incredible activities and events that are taking place, as well as a few giveaways. So with that, Carrie Lee Auger, who's our Director of Programs and Partnerships at WeBC, over to you.
Thank you, Jill, Paulina, and our entire teams on the ground in Victoria for hosting this live event, the part of the celebration today. What a thrill it is to have today proclaimed Women's Entrepreneurship Day here in BC and to view that video, those stories. It's been a week of videos, emotional videos for us, and I'm just so proud to be a part of these teams celebrating with all of you. Welcome to part 2, our exciting panel discussion. As Jill said, my name is Carrie Lee Auger. I'm the Director of Programs and Partnerships here at WeBC. I'm also an entrepreneur, so can feel all of the successes and struggles we've all gone through over the past 2 years. And I'm joining you today from the traditional unceded territory of the Syilx Okanagan people. The name of our event today is Trials and Triumphs, our celebration of Women's Entrepreneurship Day and the proclamation just made here in BC. It was created to share stories. We want to learn from each other, and we want to celebrate the successes that we've had, even during some of these challenging times. Both WeBC and the Forum take every opportunity that we can to celebrate, amplify the voices of amazing women entrepreneurs across the province so we can lift each other up to achieve success, whatever that may look like for each of us. I'm thrilled to be asked today to introduce my colleague, Dawn McCooey, entrepreneur in residence here at WeBC, our facilitator extraordinaire. Dawn works directly with women business owners to provide one-to-one business guidance. She reviews and provides feedback on business plans, evaluates loan applications, and provides support to our current loan clients. She facilitates workshops, webinars, events like this, and most recently our Passion and Grit cohort-focused program, all about planning for the future, whatever that may bring. As we've seen over the last few years, there's moments of celebration and there's hurdles that we need to get over. So let's be prepared for those. Dawn's a champion of women entrepreneurs across the province and a compassionate mentor to many women, including myself. And I'm thrilled, Dawn, to welcome you and thank you again for joining us here today to facilitate this panel. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Carrie Lee, for that kind introduction, and welcome everyone. What an exciting day. I don't know about you, but watching the video and listening to these introductions from women entrepreneurs from across the province, they're inspiring and heart-wrenching in some ways when you think of all of the challenges that all of us have endured, and even as recently as this week. I come to you today and acknowledge the unceded and traditional territories of the Algonquin people of the Esquimalt and Songhees nations. And I am so delighted to introduce to you our 3 panelists. We have a lineup today of 3 remarkable women entrepreneurs from across BC, and I'm going to introduce them briefly, and you'll also see in chat their LinkedIn profiles, so you can find out a little more about each of them. But I will briefly introduce to you Tessa McLoughlin. Tessa, we are here there she's waving. We are here at Quench, and Tessa is the founder of Quench. It's a Victoria designed office space, integrated with fitness and food and culture, amazing space where we're hosting this event today. So welcome, Tessa. And I would also like to introduce Alicia Heidt. Alicia comes to us today from Kelowna, and she founded a company called Chickpeas Planet Forward. It's a social enterprise, a zero waste refillery. And last but not least, I'd like to introduce Barbora Samieian. She's the director and brand manager of community at Sundays. an online furniture company that is making waves and disrupting the furniture business. She also is a partner in Field and Social. They have 4 locations, a restaurant chain in Vancouver. Welcome, Barbara. So I'm going to start by asking each of our panelists, what are you celebrating today? Can we start with you, Tessa?
Yes, you may. I mean, I think what I've been celebrating for the last 20 months is surviving and thriving. Just trying to get through it, being a service-based industry. That's revenue stream. It comes from events and office space. You know, I'm pretty proud that we're still here.
Absolutely. Barbara, would you like to jump in? What are you celebrating?
Yes, I would say surviving. What a couple of years, and what a year. A year ago, I also gave birth to twins that just celebrated their first birthday 2 days ago. And yeah, just proud that I made it, really. There's been some hard moments. Running a hospitality business that wasn't without its challenges. And we actually opened our 4th brick and mortar location in the middle of COVID. And then this other startup business, Sundays. So made it. I'm still standing.
Thank you, Barbara. Alicia, what are you celebrating?
Well, survival, like the other ladies, and so much. But if I had to just choose a couple of things, definitely opening my first brick and mortar store in the middle of the pandemic, June of 2020, and also for saving over 40,000 single-use plastics from the landfill in our first year, when so many of our sustainability environmental options were taken away from us. We were able to achieve that goal. So I'm super pumped about that.
Wow. Congratulations to all of you. And congratulations to all of the women entrepreneurs that are joining us today from all across BC, whether you're from Williams Lake or Heidt, all of these communities celebrating the amazing resilience and strength and survival mode of women entrepreneurs. This really is an opportunity to celebrate. And, you know, we've got some questions for our panelists, and one of them is to start with the why. What fuels you? What keeps you going?
Dawn.
Yes.
You forgot the toast. We need to toast.
Well, let's toast before we jump into the questions. I forgot the toast.
She's so excited to speak with these amazing women. I love it.
Has everyone got a drink of choice? And as Carrie Lee said, no judgment, whatever your drink of choice, whatever the time of day, raise a glass.
I've got a sanitizer. Can I just raise the sanitizer?
It's fitting for this.
Here's to last 20 months.
Here's to the amazing Proclamation. Here are to the amazing women entrepreneurs and all of your teams, to all of us from WeBC and the Forum. A toast to International Women's Entrepreneurship Day, the full-on proclamation here in British Columbia, in Victoria, happening now. Cheers. Thank you, Carrie Lee. Someone has to keep me on the rails. So let's go back to our why and what is fueling you now that you're fueled. Alicia, what fuels you? What is your why of how you do what you do and keep doing it?
Well, that's easy. It's the community. So we are a business that was created for the community, and the community is what fills us up and keeps us going. And we are so lucky to have such an incredible community here in the Okanagan. So we have a great local community, and we're also expanding to more of a global community too. So that's my why.
Wonderful. Thank you. Barbara?
Yeah, I would say also, building community and kind of inspiring others and building employment opportunities. My family immigrated here when I was 12 from Slovakia, and my parents literally started from scratch. And I feel like I've been just given this opportunity to build something, and it's been amazing to kind of see our teams develop both at Field and Social and Sundays. And I feel like that's really my calling, is mentoring and developing our teams.
Beautiful. Thank you. Tessa, what fuels you? What's your why?
Well, I mean, the big why for me was when I created Quench, I really had this belief that happiness came from a balance of things. And I knew that the happier we were as individuals, the happier, the safer, the more innovative our communities become. Because I do this little hand thing where I think that, if you don't know your neighbors, if you don't know the people in your community, you kind of can slip through the cracks, like people can slip through. But the closer you are, the more you know people. Looks better if I do it this way. The more you know each other, what's going on in each other's lives, you don't fall through the cracks. People can bounce back from hard times. And that's exactly why I built Quench. It was to build a place where people felt like they belonged, and they were seen, and they could be inspired. And so that's my why, is like, when I'm sitting here waving to all the women walking out of this room that we just were in, and it's the waving and everyone's coming up to me saying, oh my God, it's so vibrant in here. There it is. I think making people feel seen is my why.
Beautiful. Well said. Community, and there's that theme from all of you. It is community. Whether you're, doing your part with the environment, creating experiences for your customers, or creating community. That why, and whether you're a tiny solopreneur in a small community, or you're a growing entrepreneur, it's the big and bold and the small and mighty. We all have our why and our purpose for what we do, but that community is so important. So I'd like to ask, and please jump in, any of you can answer, but what are the most critical changes that we must make, or steps that we must take to face the future successfully? What are some changes?
I think that when we met up the other day, very quickly, we were discussing a few things. And I think where I feel that women are going to add such an incredible boost to our world in every way is the fact that we do business differently. Like we talked about coming from this collaboration and not competition, and existing in an ecosystem and not an ecosystem. And I think that that's a really important part of making sure that, to do business with a social and an environmental consciousness shouldn't be an option. That is an absolute must. Like, we should not even be thinking of going into business unless we're thinking of those things. Like, how can we give back? How can we be good stewards? And I think that women have that in just bucket loads. We're all about collaboration. We're all about multitasking. We're all about how can we make everyone better. And so I think that that's the exciting thing going forward.
Thank you, Tessa. Yes. Absolutely. And if you think about changes and growth, there are also misconceptions out there. And sometimes women entrepreneurs, have ideas about growth and what it might mean or might not mean. What are some misconceptions about business growth? And how can we combat these and communicate more effectively to encourage and support women entrepreneurs? Barbara, I'm wondering if you would be willing to jump into that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, one of the misconceptions certainly that I even had, or that was projected, was you can't grow a family and your business or kind of ambition at the same time. Like something's going to have to give quite significantly. And, you know, since I've started Field and Social, I've gone from 1 to 4 kids now, and I'm on my second business. And I would say one of the biggest, like the biggest leaps I have made in the business has always been when I've had a baby, because it has meant that I finally had to hand the reins to someone else, trust that actually there are others that can do it better. I'm not the only one, you know, that can be the floor manager of our first location, and like giving those keys away the first time was really hard, but learning that that's actually something that can propel you forward. You know, when I decided to step back a little bit from Field to move into Sundays, it was right around the time that my twins came. And so I had an investor in the community that was like, oh, well, you're stepping back because you've got 4 kids now, right? And I was like, no, I'm stepping into this, you know, other new opportunity. So I think we need to change that perception for each other and in the community, to know that, yeah, it's possible.
Says the mother of 4 children under 5. The letting go, right? And delegating, and, you know, that it actually frees you up. That's, you know, it's almost sounds like an oxymoron, but it's such a great example. Absolutely. And Alicia, I have a question about trending. You know, we're talking about the future and growth, and I'm wondering, you know, as a trend spotter, if you had a crystal ball right now, what are you noticing? What is happening in your community? What's happening in the environmental community and the social enterprise community?
Yeah, so what I'm noticing more and more with my community is that people are purchasing based on values, and they're supporting businesses that align with their value system. And so there's more conscious consumers out there. And I'm noticing that employee retention is a lot more successful when that business, they could be making shoes or they could be making drywall, but if they have a social impact, they will be able to retain employees a lot more than if they don't have that added benefit. So I am noticing that. And just to touch on Tessa's point, I'm noticing that collaboration results in resilience. And I think, you know, given the immediate situation that's going on with the flooding, and then just the whole last 2 years, that we need to find every opportunity possible to create resilience for ourselves. And it's in collaboration. It's finding that network, that small group of women, that large group of women, whatever it have be, those like-minded people that you can keep in your network so that you don't fall through those cracks, like Tessa said.
I love how you phrase that, you know, just really the connections with each other, and yet taking care of yourself through, you know, managing all of those changes and trials and tribulations. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was just going to say too, we don't want to, I don't think anyone's trying to exclude men here. We can certainly collaborate with men. It's, you know, that's definitely possible. So, I mean, I've had a lot of great men along my journey, and I just have had a lot more great women, but not to devalue those bad men out there too.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'd like to look at defining success, because you know, in the video prior to the start, someone was saying, you know, we want to celebrate everyone, you know, women entrepreneurs across the province, regardless of where we are and what, and that usually means, or there's that understanding of how we define success. What does that look like? And I'd love to ask each of you to provide your definition of success. Can we start with you, Barbara?
Sure, absolutely, Dawn. I would say personally, like there's a certain kind of ease and flow when I'm feeling in a state of like things are going well and successfully. But it's really when I see my employees happy and the theme kind of thriving, like that to me is success. Being able to retain team members for a long time, particularly in hospitality, is known to be a really hard place to retain staff. And so I'm really proud that we've been able to do that at Field and Social, that we have team members that have grown with us in various roles, for 3 or 4 years and are continuing to grow with the company. That to me is success.
Beautiful. Well said. Tessa, how do you define success?
I mean, very, very similar to Barbara. So Quench is actually an acronym for knowledge, wellness, experiences, novelty, curiosity and connection bring health and happiness. So for me, and let's face it, happiness comes with health. So we could just get rid of the health and have it as happiness. But so it's happiness for me. It's like, do I walk in here and am I facilitating? Am I helping people? Because I can't make people happy. That, what's the Dalai Lama says, happiness is not made. It is, oh God, I can't believe I'm forgetting my quote that I always use. But anyway, it's something that we have to find ourselves. It's not, someone can't give it to us. But so if I can see that I have created a space where people can thrive and be happy, well, that's it. And I mean, Barbara said it perfectly. Employees. We had a meeting here at Quench with a group of founders, and one of them was Mandy Farmer, who's the fabulous CEO of Z Hotels and Accent Inns. And she said that's also how they do it. They measure the happiness of their employees. And I just think that that's number one for me too.
I love it. Alicia, how do you define success?
I think I'm going to echo what these lovely ladies said too. So happy customers, happy employees, that's really important to me. But the second part of that is also watching the business run on its own. So I always look at it like a wheel that turns on its own. And on those days where my children are sick and I'm not able to go, or like today where I've taken the afternoon off so I can show up for this community, and knowing that the store is taken care of and not worrying, like that to me is success.
And your success is our success because you came here today to share all of this. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it really leads us right into the next question. And I think all of you touched on this, is that finding talent nowadays, most small businesses, all businesses, large businesses are struggling with a labor shortage. And an economist once said about 5 years ago that the successful businesses of the future are the ones who are able to retain their employees. So our panelists, you're on the right track. But how do you do that? How do you find your talent? And what are your most effective methods to keep that talent engaged? Who would like to jump in on that?
I can jump in, Dawn, if you like. Yeah, it is a challenge, and it's something constantly on our mind, particularly for a direct-to-consumer business, which has been higher growth. Employee referrals have been a great source of providing talent, and so rewards that we can develop that are meaningful for our current staff, and really making it a great place to work, so that as an employer brand, we're known as a place in the community. Like, Sundays or Field and Social is a good place to work. I'm proud to work there. I'm engaged, providing opportunities for growth. So really having regular, meaningful discussions with our team members, not just sort of at the 1-year annual performance review, but encouraging our managers to have really regular discussions, being in touch with where our team members want to go next, where do they want to professionally grow. And while they're with us, you know, we don't expect them to be with Sundays or Field forever, but while they're with us, how can we tap into their strengths and talents and move them into areas that they'd like to learn more about.
Beautiful examples and very practical examples, you know, kind of like the stay interviews, like why are you here? Let's not wait for a year to have an annual review. Let's, you know, keep it active and involved. Some great, really good examples.
And Dawn, I will, a bit of a full circle moment here. I think it was actually a mentorship conversation that you and I had 2 or 3 years ago, where the stay interview was a concept that you introduced for me. And yeah, absolutely. That's something that we do.
Beautiful. Well done. And you know, Barbara, I think you in a pre-meeting, you were talking about the average length of time that your workers in field and social. What was the average length of time? Did you share that with us?
Yeah, you know what, I didn't. I don't have an average, but what I do have is the fact that we've got, you know, 5+ for employees that have been with us for 3 or more years, which I think in quick serve hospitality is fairly high. And so yeah, really proud of that, particularly in our kitchen roles. Yeah, is something that we're proud of.
Excellent. Thank you. And I'm going to come back to, I'm going to circle back, talk about circle back. I'm stealing your words, Barbara. I want to circle back to success, because a lot of what you're talking about are some of the tips and things that all of you are doing for success in being clear about your purpose and what it is that you strive for, what's important to you, how you manage your staff. So I want to circle back to success because, you know, all of you definitions have some common threads, but they also are unique. And that's important. Women entrepreneurs have unique and diverse reasons for being in business, for starting a business, for growing a business. And so how does media and how does the community define success? And what can we do to expand that concept or the notion of what is success? Because it's unique for every single entrepreneur. What can we do? Any ideas?
Not worry about how other people define it.
Yeah. I mean, this is my own it, right? This is my definition of success.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think when we run businesses, there are obviously things that you have to do to continue to run them, which is, you know, reach those financial goals, have a great management team, have a great team, all of those things. But I mean, everyone's success is measured differently in terms of, you know, some people might want a lifestyle business, some people might want world domination, some people, you know, but I think it is, you know, not buying into how other people think you should be is a good start. I don't know. Anyone else agree?
Agreed. And I think that it's that leaning into the fact that it may look different from year to year, or sometimes even day to day. Like some days it's the fact that, you know, you're able to be there for your kids. 2 of my toddlers had COVID a couple of weeks ago. And so I was stuck home quarantining with them and having that flexibility. And other days, you know, success feels like the team's really happy and there are different definitions. That we can lean into.
Lean into it. Oh, yeah, I love that.
And I also think that showing up for your team in the way that you want to show up is a way to define success. If you're constantly scrambling and feeling like you're not leading well and just feeling like you're a hot mess, which is totally okay if you are, because I think we all deserve to have those hot mess moments. But if you're showing up and leading with love, which is how I like to lead, and with compassion, then I think if you're able to do that on more days than not, then that is a good sign of success as well.
What a great, I love that definition. Leading with love and feeling that success.
My very first boss used to say that she leads with love, and she has like for sure been one of the most instrumental women in my life and still is. And that's the way she led. And I just always said, well, if I'm ever going to own my own business, that's what I'm going to do. And yeah, funny enough, that's what's happening. And that's what I'm doing.
The power of mentors. It was mentioned earlier, right? The power of mentorship. Beautiful. I think there's an opportunity to open up some questions. Carrie Lee, have we got enough time to invite on chat a couple of questions for our panelists?
Absolutely, if people want to pop them in there. And I also have just been reading the amazing comments that are in there and people actively participating and sharing. So I think everybody today is learning from the panel, but I think you're all learning from each other too. And just, as I said before, lifting each other up. So yeah, I wouldn't be where I am today without my mentor of 30 years. He's been invaluable to me. So that's great, right? We're bringing men into the conversation, like Tessa had mentioned as well. And I saw Jen on here had a comment, you know, for Matern, newly launched business as well. The support of men has been incredible. And we talked all about, you know, gender equality and things like that. We need men to be at the table and having those conversations as well, right? To continue the force to be reckoned with that is women entrepreneurs. So let me just look as questions come in. We have one in here from Amy asking, what are some creative ways you've increased your impact and visibility? So again, when we think to, especially during COVID times, things like that, if we're on limited budgets, what are some creative ways that you've been able to do that?
It's a great question.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Amy.
Who would like to jump in on that? What are some creative ways?
I can take that. Hi, Amy. For us, you know, collaboration and leaning on our communities. So whether it's doing a virtual giveaway on, you know, Instagram with some of our suppliers and partners, telling stories and kind of tagging in at field. For example, we've been supporting MealShare for many years, which is our charity of choice. And so even utilizing them as a platform to kind of amplify about our brand so that they can tell their communities and sharing our challenges and really leaning on our networks. People will then they'll kind of listen to your call for help, and I feel like they'll kind of help amplify your voice.
That's great. I hope that gave you some fresh ideas, Amy, and to everyone else.
Yeah.
Alicia, do you want to go, Carrie Lee?
No, you go ahead, Dawn.
I was just going to invite Alicia to show how she is making creative connections.
Active. Yeah, thank you. We're pretty active on our social media, and we're certainly not perfect. We show up imperfectly quite a bit. And I think that's one of the reasons that we've improved our visibility, because people see that it's not scripted and that we're authentic. And, you know, if we make a mistake, we talk about it. And one thing that I think has worked really, really well for us is that people are sponges for information and they want to be empowered. They want that knowledge to make better choices, especially for the industry which I am in, which is helping people reduce their waste. So all of the posts and stories where we're sharing facts and DIYs and free things that you can do to reduce your environmental impact, that gets eaten up right away. And when we're not as salesy, you know, promoting products, we do that, like we have to do that. But I find that just being real and sharing information that can help people make change without having them break the bank, that's important. So it depends on your business if that works for everyone, but that's what works for us.
The authenticity. Wonderful. Tessa, did you want to add something?
No, I think that the ladies summed it up. I mean, I think being authentic to your vision and the purpose, and people will follow you as soon as you stray from that. It'll be noticeable to everyone, and then you've lost. You kind of lose the people that made up your community. So authentic and compassion. I'm a big believer in leading with compassion and curiosity, because it enables you to be less judgmental and more open to other ways of thinking and other ideas.
Women entrepreneurs this morning started off on continuing with a road show, and I said to my colleague, I said, you know, women entrepreneurs, when they get lost, they stop and ask for directions, and involve others, and get, as you said, Tessa, curious, you know, asking the questions, and that's what people are doing today. It's a great opportunity to ask questions, and as Carrie Lee said, sharing in the chat ideas and all kinds of great things going back and forth there as well.
Well, and even making connections, right? People sharing who they are, what their business is, where they're from. And if, you know, like-minded people can jump in and share and get to meet each other. So it's all about, for us too, creating that community of support. And there were some comments there, ideas for people on, again, how to reach out. And it's the Instagram swap where I've seen that, the account takeovers. So leveraging, and one of Dawn's favorite workshops that we have is the strategic alliances. So how do you find some of those partners, right? Like-minded businesses that you can do that share, package together, promote together. There's lots of those. I see contests where 3 or 4 businesses will come together, right? So you're lifting each other up at the same time and reaching customers that have, the same values and goals that you do. So it's incredible to see. I've seen a lot of that as well. So I'm going to scroll down here. There was a great question about, sorry, the chat is so busy. I love it. Here we go. Rosie is asking, if you were to solve one problem right now in your business, what would it be? So what is a challenge that you're still having, that's something you're either working on or have a new, perhaps even in that, a new goal that you're trying to achieve? Does anybody have anything, thinking about the future, what we want that future to look like? Do you have something right now that you might need support with, or is one of those things that many women on this call might be dealing with as well?
Well, I'm doing, we're expanding to Vancouver hopefully next year. And so I'm doing a small fundraise now, like another seed round. And so it's funny, when I first did my first round of investment, it was so difficult to find anything. I'm a single mum with 2 young kids that had been recently divorced, and it was just, I was not what they were looking for. So I think, like, right now, that's what I'm doing. But the unique thing, that maybe it's not too unique, but I'm trying to fill it with female investors. So I've had quite a few male investors wanting to invest, and I said, well, actually, I'm only taking female investors for the first month. So yeah, that's something I'm really excited about. It's challenging, and it's exciting, because I reckon I'll do it.
Great.
Yeah.
Hats off. Yeah.
Thanks.
Great question. Understanding what other people are working with and through and toward can provide fuel for us as well.
Yeah. And I see we're having some networking things going on in the chat. I love it. I encourage everybody to scroll and take a look. People are looking for support and asking questions from everybody here on the event today. So that's great. And I know Kathy had a quote on here about mentoring, and I can't find it in here, Kathy, I apologize. But I know for both the forum and WeBC, mentoring is a huge part of the service delivery that we do. And it's underlying that theme that, like, you do not have to do it alone. You don't have to do it by yourself. If you are a solopreneur, reach out and ask for help and guidance and support. Both of the organizations have amazing programs out there. And especially, when we're dealing with all these challenges, the crazy times of COVID and a bit of isolation, and we see the light at the end of the tunnel, but don't feel like you have to be superwoman all the time, right? There's lots of great programs out there to to help you in networking, mentoring, community, collaboration. I love that when that word came up. That's one of our core values as well. And Tessa, I loved we're in an ecosystem. We talk about this amazing ecosystem, not an ego system. And I think I just love that saying, because it is like, we're all here to support each other. And, through my role here and in my business, when I see other women succeed, that is success for me. That brings me joy. So when I'm seeing these women go out and do amazing things, or hire their first employee, or, when they're having success, I'm like, yes, we've done our job. This is so great.
Yeah, and I think that I just wanted to add with that eco and the ecosystem. I mean, that for me relates across many sort of areas, and incredibly important to me is the environment. And we will not be here if we don't take better care of our environment. So everything we're creating is worthless unless we do that. So that's part of that ecosystem too, is like, let's get over the ego of just using, consuming, wasting, and let's work as an ecosystem with the environment we're in, whether that be our natural environment, our social environment. Yeah, sorry, a little passionate there.
Oops. Passion and grit, right, Kerry?
That's right. That's right. That program we just had, yeah. So I'm just looking here too, and thank you to Netta, who's the amazing Zoom guru on our team here, pulling up the questions for me as I'm scrolling through. Another great question that came in that I'll just let any of you jump in and answer. Did you receive more support than you expected during the last challenging months? Did people shop local to support you? How did you feel about that support? So if any of you have any, kind of great stories to share around that, anything unexpected that came of the support that you saw, and where did that come from?
I just had a recent one that made me smile. We lost a lot of our regular customers downtown. We were very focused on that lunchtime, like really busy business, which kind of disappeared as everybody started to work from home.
Right.
And slowly people are coming back, and that customers remember us and that they're still there. So I had a regular that just wrote a Google review 2 days ago. I'm back, and the salads are as amazing as ever, and the team was friendly. And so I guess it wasn't support like during COVID, but even now after the fact, like the people are still there, they'll eventually come back. It was a great little moment.
Yeah, that's heartwarming for sure.
Yeah.
And Google reviews is another thing to support women entrepreneurs. Do the ratings and share and cross promote and all of those different pieces for sure. All right, let's see.
Beautiful. I was just going to mention a quick little thing too. Like, I met Barbara because we were opening up I think we did the Forum for Women's Entrepreneurs course together. I didn't meet you then, I don't think, but then we were opening up a store, a Cafe General store in Quench, and I didn't know quite what to do, and Paulina put me on to Barbara. We tried to get her to come here, but she wouldn't. But anyway, I think that's it's just a sign of what WeBC does and the forum, in terms of like, you put that thought out there, who should I meet? And, Paulina or Dawn or someone goes, oh, you should talk to this person. So yeah, I think we talked about that too, Alicia, like being able to, you just ask.
Yeah, I have actually a really cool story too. So I was a mentor through the Women's Enterprise Center for a little company here in Kelowna. They were two incredible women that started a salad dressing company called Umami. And I had tried it like once or twice, didn't know much about it, but I had previously owned a product-based business. And so I had some expertise in mentoring them. Well, our mentorship relationship turned into a really beautiful friendship. And now their product is being sold at my store, one of the most popular products in our store. And so just to see that full circle moment, like we both are able to celebrate our successes together. And now it's gone from mentor to mentee to just, colleagues and entrepreneurs and women supporting women. And so it's one of the most special relationships that I can speak to in this entire entrepreneurial journey. So it's pretty cool.
A strategic alliance that started off as a friendship and a mentorship.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful.
You never know what can happen.
That's right. I'm wondering if the panelists have a question that they might like to ask each other. Is there something that you would like to share, or something that we've missed that you would really want to be sure to talk about today?
I can start with that if that's all right. It'll be the same question for both Tessa and Barbora. And I'm super curious because I believe you're both moms, right? I'm super curious to know, how do you guys manage your mental health?
Do you want me to start, Tessa?
Go for it.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's been, to be honest, it's been really hard, especially in the last year. But two things have really helped me. I finally got a therapist 6 months ago and started regular exercise. And it's like been a huge, just a huge shift in feeling better. Because yeah, finding the time for like self-care, like, getting my nails done or whatever else I would have considered self-care maybe in my 20s, just hasn't really been an option. But just having somebody to talk to, and sometimes it means it's on the drive home from the office is when I can squeeze in the appointment. Has really been an investment that has helped me a lot.
I kind of have two sides to that. One, my kids definitely keep me grounded, and I love that, because as soon as I'm with them, I'm with them. So even though sometimes I get up really early to work so they don't see me working, and I definitely am a big meditator. I'm a firm believer in the power of meditation in terms of calming your body, calming your mind. And so that's been great. But, I have this story that sometimes I tell when I was starting Quench and my kids were a lot younger, and it was just me doing everything. I was the one opening the building, cleaning the dishwasher, cleaning the toilets, doing absolutely everything. And I'm a 95% of the time single parent. And so I remember coming one day and we had all this beautiful work done downstairs. Dawn, you'll remember our old space. And I was like, gee, the carpet looks dark, as I was cleaning the building one day. And then I was like, oh my God, it's flooding. The building's flooding. And so all this water was coming in and I was trying to do it. And so that was like on the Friday. Then I got there on the Sunday to try and clear things up, and we'd be nominated for something. And someone said to me, did you know that your website's like pointing to porn sites and things like that? I'm like, oh my God. So I, on the Sunday, had to shut our website down, completely wipe it. And then on the Monday, my son, who was only 8 years old at the time, was sick. And I was just like, oh my God, well, what do I do? Because I'm the one who opens up the place. Like I can't. So I ran around the neighborhood. I've got great neighbors, great community. And I was like, can you check on him at 9 o'clock? You're checking on him at 9:30. You're checking. So I found out this, pool of people. Anyway, long story short, that night he really still wasn't good. And so I took him to the hospital and was taken immediately to emergency because he had meningitis, and I had to be in isolation with him for a week. And I just remember being like, really? Like, really? Come on, like throw me a bone. But you know what? My community, my members all pitched in. They called me. One of them came and grabbed the keys from the hospital, opened up the club. They got 2 new members while I was at the hospital with my son. And it was just like, it was such a, like, Barbara, it reminds me how you're like, it's that, can you step away a bit? I mean, that certainly was unique situations to do it, but yeah, I think, you know what, we're good with at rolling with the punches, and the universe doesn't give you anything that you can't handle. So, yeah.
But Tessa, that speaks again to your hand signal, because that community that you created
Yeah.
was there for you when you needed them. So you created the space for them to give back to you. So that's huge impact right there. So that's fantastic.
Thank you.
What about you, Alicia? How do you take care of your mental health?
Well, I have 2 kids under 6 right now, and so daily gratitude. I try even when I'm in it, and having that hot mess day, I do try to find one thing at least that I'm grateful for. And I've been really practicing the art of compassion with myself, and telling myself it's okay. Like, it's okay if you didn't show up today. It's okay if you didn't exercise today. It's okay if you didn't do the things on your list. It's okay if you did one thing on your list. And so just telling myself that it's okay has been huge. I think before I had a lot of expectations on myself, and that translated into a lot of expectations on other people. And you learn the hard way that mindset doesn't work very well. So now, flip, I'm just trying to be more compassionate with myself, and that's translated into more compassion for other people. And yeah, that's what I try to do. I do try to weave in some exercise when I can. My kids keep me pretty busy, and the store is pretty big, so I am like going back and forth from one end to the other most days of the week. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah. And you're in the thick of it too. Kids under the age of 6 is just like, you're in the thick of it.
It's wild.
So it is, yeah. And it changes. It changes, and just like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and look at the amazing things you're showing them, I think. Like, yeah. What's that? Sorry,
Modeling
Dawn,
the
I know
way. Absolutely modeling the way for the next generation. That's in the video. And those of you who know me, you know, will have heard my analogy, but women entrepreneurs are, and who are also often parenting and mothering, are juggling so many balls. And, you know, some of those balls are rubber and some are glass. And when you're juggling all those things, keeping track of the glass balls and allowing your community that you have created to help you with the rubber balls. Yeah. It's mothers in leadership. It was that was actually the topic of my thesis, mothers in leadership, and you know, the parallels and the transferable competencies and skills and knowledge that mothers who are also entrepreneurs bring to the table. Fascinating. And here you all are today on International Women's Entrepreneurship Day. Celebrating with all of these women across the province who are here to share, to hear your stories, to feel this sense of community. And I think throughout these last 18 months, the forum and WeBC have been here to help to create community. I want to thank all of you who have participated today, especially to our panelists. Please join me, everyone, in thanking Tessa McLoughlin, Alicia Heidt, and Barbora Samieian. Thank you so much for joining us, to WeBC and to the forum for creating this opportunity. To the province of BC and the proclamation of this very special day. I might have forgotten the toast at the beginning, but I didn't forget it for the end. A toast to all of you, a huge thank you, and especially to our panelists today who so willingly shared and helped to create this community.
Yes, thank you all.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you all. What a fantastic day we've had. Like to thank the teams at both WeBC and the forum. Everybody, if you can wave, that would be great. Thank you, Tessa, for hosting our live event at Quench today as well. What a beautiful space. I've been seeing some photos come in from the team that's on the ground there. Thank you to the province of BC for officially recognizing today as Women's Entrepreneurship Day and for acknowledging the impact that women entrepreneurs have on the BC economy. We'd also like to thank Startup Canada for being a supporting partner and Better with Ice Cream for providing a treat for our Victoria guests. So in a couple of minutes, I will announce the 2 names of the registrants who will receive a Visa gift card, $50 Visa gift card. And we encourage you to purchase something either from the women entrepreneurs listed in our We Shop BC website. We have lots over, I think it was over 430 women entrepreneurs that have listed in there in the pop-up shop, and applications are still open. You can still add in your business and your offer if you haven't done that already. So it's on our we-bc.ca website. I'll get Netta to pop that link in there if she doesn't mind. And you can check out our newly launched website. And then the forum in acknowledgement of their 20th anniversary. Congratulations. And in celebration of the many entrepreneurs and supporters who make their business possible as well. They're kicking off celebrations with a holiday silent auction. So through the virtual event, you have a chance to get a head start on holiday shopping with a lineup of amazing items and experiences on offer from their generous donors. When you make a contribution, you're directly supporting women entrepreneurs across Canada who rely on the forum to access the resources and community needed to thrive in their business. So those are just a couple of the ways that you can support women entrepreneurs today and ongoing. As we had lots in the chat there, other ways include mentoring, investing, advocating for women. So let's all come together and do what we can to equalize entrepreneurship, recognizing the unique needs of many different entrepreneurs. So the 2 winners I have of the $50 gift cards are Amy E. from Courtney, BC, and Elizabeth M. from Vancouver. I know it's a bit generic right now, but you might know who you are, and we'll be in touch shortly by email. So congratulations to you. Thank you again to our team on the ground in Victoria, to Jill and Paulina for hosting an absolutely amazing proclamation as well. And we hope you will stick around. We'll leave the Zoom open for a little bit. So if anybody wants to stay in the chat and connect, we'll leave it open for a few minutes so you can scroll up there as well. But the formal part of the event is over. Thank you to everybody in Victoria watching on the big screen. Thank you for joining us. And happy Women's Entrepreneurship Day to everyone. Thank you for joining us for this amazing, amazing celebration. And we look forward to more celebrations in the future. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, everybody.